In the beginning, you're tempted to give all your energy to anybody and everybody that tells you that they want to share your product with people and turn this into a business for themselves. And then very soon you'll see that the cream will rise to the top, and other people will have a ton of excuses. I'm busy, I'm this, I'm that. I was one of those too, eh? Oh my God. I had every excuse for why I couldn't do this until one day I got so angry, I just started doing it. But anyway, so in the beginning, like I said, because you want to have so many lines, we call them down lines, different business builders going down the line, in order to qualify you to rank up, you want to get as many people going as possible. And some people you meet are not interested in business building, but they have such an incredible network that your only way to leverage that network is to kind of build a business for them and put these people under them. The problem with that later on, like, that might be good in the beginning as a strategy if that's your only option, your only opportunity. The problem is that over time, as their downlines get bigger, the time requirement of you having to take care of all of their downlines, because they're not necessarily able or willing for whatever reason, and mostly it's usually their own limitations mentally. It requires such a huge energy output from you that it almost becomes counterproductive, because that time would have been better spent seeking business builders that were competent. And, the network doesn't even matter, really. This is what I'm learning. I have some people that have the most amazing network that just don't have the motivation to get past their own limiting beliefs and actually become successful. Where I have had others that live in remote areas, for example, that have a million excuses why this shouldn't take off, have done so well, they've already leapfrogged me. You know what I mean? They've surpassed me in terms of growth and sales and everything. So I'm learning in this business that there's really no excuses. There's willingness. That's really what it comes down to. And sometimes it's worth it to not give a ton of energy output to a downline that's going to require a ton of energy. Giving 80% of your energy to a downline that's only giving you 20% of your revenue isn't really the smartest allocation of energy, right? So I think it would be better to kind of step away from that a little and open yourself up to finding the kind of downline that's going to leapfrog you, because trust me, that's a good thing. Right, when their downlines are growing so huge, that big, that they're surpassing you, you don't have to worry about them anymore, and they've become so confident they hardly ever need to call on you, except for to keep cheering them on, so you can devote all your energy to cultivating new downlines and new business builders that hopefully are as motivated and capable. So that would be my big caution. And here's the big thing on how you discern who's who is you start doing tests. So for example, someone says to you, okay, you know what, I kind of like what you're doing. I think I could do this myself. Great. I tell you what, I'm not asking you to contact anybody, but I want you to come to me, let's say 3 days. Do you think in 3 days you can email me a contact list of 100 people? Promise I'm not going to call anyone on there, and I'm not going to ask you to call anyone on there. I just want you to come up with 100 people, whether you know them or you don't, that you can somehow have access to, that you think that you would love to have enrolled under you. And 3 days from then, contact them. And if they come to you with 100, then give them energy. Or if they're like, oh, I forgot, oh, I got busy, hey, tell you what, when you have time, when you come up with that 100, come talk to me and we'll take the next step. And then don't bother them again, because if you have to constantly nag them in the beginning just to get started, then you're going to be nagging them for the rest of their career. You know what I mean? And you're always going to have to be. So, what you need are self motivated, smoldering motivation in people, is what you're looking for. And you weed them out with these little tests. Or you might say, you're going to be horrible at it, so I want you to talk to 3 people about what you're thinking of doing and then come back to me. But make sure it's not people you really want to sell to. three strangers have a random conversation come back to me. So you want to see how coachable, how open, and how motivated they are. And then there's certain signs that you're going to see when you see that someone's ready to go. When all of a sudden they come to you and say, I got a website, I got this Facebook page, I whatever, I just bought myself bling for trade show tables, I just read the income statement, I've just, when you see that they're coming to you with lots of momentum, I have 3 classes booked, can you help me talk to this business builder, how do I answer this question? When you start to get that kind of momentum from somebody, that's when you're like, okay, all right, now I'm going to give you energy. But to take a group of people and try and beg them into business building, then you'll be begging them forever. So I found it was better for me to wait a while and find the momentum in other people when they were ready to. And then when they showed, that little bit of initiative, then I made sure I was there to carry them as much as I could the rest of the way, as long as they needed me. But the ones that really have it don't need you. And that's what you're going to fine. In the beginning, sure, tons of questions. There's a huge learning curve in the beginning, but that's like, a month, 2 months max. And then you see them start a little bit at a time to get more and more self-sufficient. And a lot of that's on you. A lot of that is making sure that you don't coddle, you empower. Or write that down somewhere. Don't coddle, empower. And you can do that by providing resources and teaching them how to find their own resources for growth. But again, the early tests in the beginning, Richard Blissbrook talks about this a lot. As soon as they say they're interested, give them some homework. Anything, doesn't matter what. Read the 4-year career, do this, do that. Come up with a lead list of 10 people you're too scared to prospect, 10 people you think would say no, 10 people who might go, and 10 people who would be awesome business builders. When they start to come to you with that information, or for example, one thing that I do too is, let's say I have someone who brings it up with me more than once, but then every time we go to book a date, it doesn't happen, and we're both busy, whatever. And it seems like a sincere thing that's holding us back. I'll do a private Facebook group, and then I'll put a video on there, and I'll tailor the video just for them. I'll take the time out and make a video one-on-one, what I think they need to know to get themselves started. And then it's there, and they're the only ones I invite to this group, so it's completely private. Now it's on them to watch it. And I know they're serious when they watch it, when they start reading the books that I suggest or watching the videos on YouTube from the leaders I suggest. When I see that they're diving into that heavy duty and they're soaking it all up, when they're going to see Adam Green and getting autographs from Adam Green, I know that they're about to hit gold and then skyrocket from there. So those are the things that you want to start watching out for early, and give positive energy to the downlines that are doing great, and moderate energy to all your other downlines, and always reserve that chunk for new business builders. Look for motivation, look for confidence, look for that burning why, but always the motivation, the self-discipline, that's what you're looking for. The network does not matter. There's no point of a huge network if it's not going to be leveraged, right? But someone who has a huge burning why and is very, very motivated and determined, they will find the network. They will go hunting and they will find the network. So don't let that part discourage you with a business builder. More important to look for someone that has a massive drive and the will to get something done. When you find that person, you hang on and you nourish that. And in our group, we'll be providing in the next month a business launch program. So what happens is, every time you have someone who's interested, we're going to have like a little binder thingy that you can provide for them. And once they read that cover to cover, it will give them all the resources, everything they need. The Coles Notes version, where they can get the full encyclopedia version, and they'll be ready to roll by the time they read that cover to cover. And then that's motivation there. I'm saving them like 5 to 6 months of training, doing things and figuring it out on your own. I'm condensing into something they can do in like 2, 3 weeks, and they'll be ready to legit start a business in 2, 3 weeks if they read that cover to cover. That's your big test to people. So you'll say, here, read this cover to cover, fill all the blanks in or whatever, get this all filled out and done, and the task's done, and then come back to me. And then maybe have some checkpoints along the way so that you'll be able to check in, see where they're at, see if there's something you can do to assist, motivate, or see if maybe this is someone that you should just back off and focus, your attention elsewhere. So you can look forward to that in the coming weeks as well. www.yl4life.org/sacred tree is how you find me. Have a great day.